My books, The Origin of Names, Words, and Everything in Between, volumes 1 and 2, are available to purchase from most major booksellers in all major formats. Order your copies today so you can enjoy these books for yourself and help support the channel.
Supermarkets, or grocery stores to some, are weird places, aren't they? No matter where you go in the world, you are most likely to find one, and they look pretty uniform no matter where you go either, despite how exotic other things might seem in that nation. However, there's always a slight tinge of excitement about visiting a supermarket in another country for some reason. A French supermarket to someone from the UK is just as exciting as visiting Disneyland or something. We also spend a huge amount of our lives in them. One report claims that British people spend on average 8.5 months of their life in them, yet we never really think about it. They're just a necessity of life that we use to purchase food and other things from. I just find it odd that we don't talk about them all that much. Like, there aren't many books or films or TV shows set in them, which is weird because they are such common ground for all people. Maybe I just think too much about them, as I spent around 5 or so years of my life working in one. In fact, it was what I was doing before I made this whole YouTube thing my full-time job. For better or worse, supermarkets are a part of my life and the lives of many other people, whether you work in one or frequent one. And if you do work in one, my heart goes out to you. Sitting behind a checkout for your entire life is often used as a threat in schools, at least while I was at school anyway. But it can be a rewarding job, and I met some fantastic people and made some amazing memories during my time on the shop floor. Also, it teaches you how to be a decent human being, right? Like, you can tell who hasn't worked in retail by the way they treat retail staff. This is a huge tangent. If I had an editor of some kind or a manager like during my supermarket days, they would probably ask me to cut all that out, but it's just me, so here we are. Basically, supermarkets found across the globe, and while they can be found everywhere, not all countries have the same supermarkets. Most supermarket brands are exclusive to one country. For example, here in the UK, we have Sainsbury's, which is hugely popular, but isn't actually found anywhere else in the world. Well, minus this one totally legit Sainsbury's in Greece, of course. Some chains can be found in multiple nations. Like, I just found out that Tesco, the UK's most popular supermarket, is also in India. Imagine being British in the depths of a nation as exotic to a British person as India, and finding a bloody Tesco's. There's also the fact that Spar, which primarily have small shops here in the UK, have actual huge supermarkets in other nations. The sight of a big Spar would be a thing to behold for myself. I should probably actually talk about names now, I suppose. Wikipedia seemingly has a list for everything, including a list for supermarket chains in popularity order. So I found the 10 supermarkets with the highest amount of locations across the globe. And for this video, these are the names we are going to be explaining. This video could easily have just been called the top 10 most popular supermarkets, or something, I guess. Chances are you have most likely been to one of these places, even if it has a different name. Yeah, certain chains actually have different names in different parts of the world. That's perhaps best seen with the 10th most popular worldwide supermarket chain, Ahold Delhaize. They have over 6,500 stores across the globe. However, their shops don't have that name. The name is different in different parts of the world. According to Wikipedia, they go by the name of Pingos in Portugal, Maxi in Serbia, and own the Food Line, Giant, Hanford, and Stop and Shop chains in the USA. The name they use I'm most familiar with, however, is the name Albert Heijn. This is the name they use in parts of Europe, like in Belgium and the Netherlands. In fact, they are based in the Netherlands too, and Albert Heijn seems to be their initial endeavor. This group of Ahold Delhaize was created when two other companies named Ahold and Delhaize merged together. The Ahold company was created by the actual Albert Heijn when he opened his first store in the Netherlands in 1887. The name Ahold is simply a compound of Albert Heijn Holdings. Hey, look at that, we're like 4 or 5 minutes into this video and I finally explain their name. As for the name of the company that Ahold merged with, Delhaize, that name simply comes from the last name of the brothers who founded it, Jules, Augusta, Eduard, and Adolphe. For the 9th most popular supermarket chain, we have one already mentioned, Tesco. And for those curious, it doesn't have an S on the end despite the fact that many people pronounce it that way. Tesco has just under 7,000 stores across the globe, primarily in the UK but also in places like Ireland, Hungary, Slovenia, and India as mentioned. The name Tesco once again relates to the people who founded it and made it popular. The chain started from a stall selling groceries in 1919, run by a man named Jack Cohen. By 1924, however, he started selling his own brand of tea from the stall. This tea was supplied by his business partner, one T.E. Stockwell. The name Tesco simply comes from a compound of the T.E. and S from T.E. Stockwell, as well as the first two letters from Jack Cohen's last name, Co. The story goes that these initial letters of Tesco were branded onto boxes of tea he ordered, but I couldn't find any proof of that. In 8th place with over 7,100 stores, we have Aldi. Sud. Yeah, it turns out there are actually two forms of Aldi. Aldi Nord just missed out on being on this list as it is in 12th place with just over 5,000 stores. Both forms of Aldi can be found in their homeland of Germany, which has created something of a divide in the nation. While Aldi Sud also serves countries such as the UK, Ireland, China, Austria and Italy, while Aldi Nord serves countries such as Belgium, the Netherlands, Poland, Spain, and the USA where they go by the name Trader Joe's. This division in Aldi happened due to the two brothers who ended up taking over the chain after the Second World War from their mother, Karl and Theo Albrecht, not being able to agree as to whether they should sell cigarettes or not in 1962. Theo got the north of Germany while Karl got the south. The name Aldi seems to have come from before the split in the chain, however. The Al at the start of the name comes from the first two letters of the brother's surname, while the D at the end of the name Aldi comes from the German word for discount. This makes sense as Aldi are known for being somewhat cheaper than other stores. In at number 7 is a chain I hadn't heard of before, that being BIM. Despite being present in just 3 countries, their native Turkey as well as Egypt and Morocco, they have over 8,200 stores. The name for once doesn't seem to come from their founder. In fact, BIM was founded in just 1995 by a group of investors instead of just one person selling fruit from a stool or something. The name is simply a shortening of their full name of Bijelik Magazalar, which translates from Turkish into English as something along the lines of United Stores, according to Google Translate anyway. The 6th largest supermarket chain in the world is none other than the one that gets confused quite often with Aldi. Lidl. Lidl can be found in a majority of countries across Europe, as well as the United States. Unlike Aldi, it isn't split into 2 companies. In fact, I just checked, and if Aldi were just one chain, they would have around 12,500 stores and be 4th on this list. Way to go and split the vote and ruin things for everyone, Colin Theo. What are you, the Lib Dems in 2010 or something? Anyway, Lidl. Lidl's name is really quite strange. The name does come from one of the people who played a role in the chain's founding. Well, kind of. Joseph Schwartz worked as a fruit wholesaler in 1932. When he died, his son Dieter Schwartz took over and wanted to expand the business into a discount supermarket chain. Dieter, however, didn't want to use his own last name for the chain, as it means black, and black market isn't the best name for a supermarket chain. He instead wanted to use the last name of one of his dad's business partners, Lidl, but for some legal reasons wasn't able to. Dieter persisted, however, and one day found an article about a retired school teacher named Ludwig Lidl. Seeing his chance, Dieter purchased the rights to Ludwig Lidl's name for 1,000 German marks. This way he could use the name Lidl for his stores, but not break the legal restrictions that were in place about using his father's business partner's name. So Lidl is kind of named after someone who founded the store, but also legally totally isn't. This is a very abridged version of the story, but I may make a full video on it one day. Next, however, in the 5th spot, we have Walmart. Thanks to the popularity of US-made media, Walmart is known across the globe and has almost 11,500 stores under its belt in most nations in North and South America, as well as parts of Africa and Asia. It's here in the UK too, but under the name Asda, which stands for Associated Dairies for those interested. Slight tangent, but this video is a mess anyway. But does anyone remember those weird plastic cow heads they used to have in Asda? I swear they had a moo button too, or maybe I'm imagining that. Despite how ever-present Walmart is, there's no official record on where the name comes from. I presumed it came from the word wall, because these big box stores have huge walls, but it most likely once again comes from the chain's founder, one Sam Walton, with Walmart just being a compound of Walton's Market. The fourth most popular chain, however, is the French chain of Carrefour. They have shops in France, of course, but also in other European nations like Italy and Spain, but can also be found in Brazil, China, and Saudi Arabia, to name a few locations. They, however, used to be a lot more present with stores in the UK, USA, and India, which are now gone. They still, however, have a whopping 12,200 plus stores under their belt. French speakers will know that this name simply means crossroad, as is the French word for crossroad. The reason they have this name is because their first large store was opened by a crossroad. The crossroad of Avenue Parmilan and Avenue Angeli Feu in Annecy, to be exact. Into the top 3 now, with bronze going to the aforementioned Spar supermarkets, which based in the Netherlands have shops from Europe across Asia into Australia and even in some southern African countries. They have over a whopping 13,100 stores. The name, of course, comes from Dutch and was initially Dispar. This is an acronym for the Dutch phrase Door Entratig Samenwerken Profiteren Allen Regelmatig. Apologies for pronunciation there, but like I said, this video is a mess anyway. But this translates roughly into through united cooperation, everyone regularly profits. The second most popular supermarket chain, however, goes to FamilyMart. This chain is based in Japan, but have stores in other Asian nations such as China, Indonesia, and Vietnam, to name a few. Despite not being as widespread, they have over 24,000 stores. This is primarily because they have smaller convenience stores as opposed to big supermarkets. I'd personally debate considering these supermarkets, but this is Wikipedia's list, so go yell at them about it. Despite being a Japanese country, this is a really English name. In fact, their native name is Kabushiki Gaisha, which translates roughly into just stock company. There doesn't seem to be all too much info out there on this name, nor a story behind it. The chain was just concocted in the late 70s by some company, and I guess the name FamilyMart just sounded friendly and generic. Even their Japanese name is as generic as it can be, with just being called stock company. A bit of a disappointing second place, to say the least, from a name perspective anyway. Number 1, however, and the largest supermarket chain in the world, goes to 7-Eleven, which once again is more a convenience store chain than a large supermarket chain, but once again, complain to Wikipedia. While they originate in the USA, they have expanded to other parts of the world, like Canada and parts of Asia. Most noticeably, however, they have made Japan once again their home. Of their, and I'm not kidding here, 71,000 plus stores, around 30% of them are in Japan alone, with there being over 2,000 in just Tokyo. Plus their egg mayo sandwiches are so good they make me want to weep. Yeah, I'm a massive weeb, leave me alone. Initially, these stores in the USA had the name of totem stores. This was a pun on the fact that customers would tote away with their purchases, tote being a verb meaning to carry something, which also gave us the term tote bag. The stores would even feature totem poles of Native American culture outside to reflect this name, which isn't culturally inappropriate at all, I'm sure. The name changed to 7-Eleven, however, in 1946. This was to highlight their new opening hours, which were, you guessed it, 7 AM to 11 PM. Of course, now many 7-Eleven stores are open way later than that, many even being open 24 hours, but that name has stuck as the most popular supermarket chain name. The final thing worth highlighting is that these kinds of stores weren't almost called supermarkets at all. When self-serving grocery stores started to appear, as opposed to ones where a member of staff would get all the items for you, they were initially dubbed groceterias. This is a compound of grocery and the teria suffix, like we see in cafeteria. This is because, like a cafeteria, they were self-served. Though while that name has some use today, supermarket is way more popular as a term. This was a really weird video, I have to admit, but a fun one. I hope I conveyed to you just how strange the world of supermarkets can be. They're an ever-present fixture to so many people's lives. As Jarvis Cocker sang, when trying to show a wealthy woman how to live like common people, I took her to a supermarket. I don't know why, but I had to start it somewhere. So it started there. I said, pretend you've got no money. She just laughed and said, oh, you're so funny. I said, yeah. I can't see anyone else smiling here. This video topic was suggested by Sebastian over on my Patreon. Every Wednesday, I put up a video request post over on my Patreon for my awesome patrons to leave video ideas on. I then pick one of those ideas to be turned into a video the following Wednesday. So if you have a great idea for a Name Explain video and wish to enjoy Name Explain videos ad-free as well as get exclusive content and your name at the end of these videos, then why not support the channel on Patreon? It takes just $1 a month to help the channel in a huge way and gets you all of these amazing benefits. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below.
Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos, and your name at the end of the video with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and once again, thank you all so much.